The Dragon Ball DAIMA Episode 5 is officially out. This one's called Panzy. Obviously, this is the name of the little girl introduced at the end of the last episode of Dragon Ball DAIMA. I say little girl, but in this episode she reveals she's like 82. So clearly demons age differently. She said the average lifespan is typically like around 1,000 years or something like that in the demon realm. So that might be the most common. That doesn't necessarily mean that all demons live only for 1,000 years or up to 1,000 years. It just means that that's the most common lifespan. Anyways, she joins Glorio and Shin and Goku on their journey to the castle of the demon king of the third demon world while they're looking for a plane. We learn a few things that, really move the plot forward in this particular episode. They make it to the castle fairly early on. I'd say maybe about halfway through the episode, give or take. And they learn that Panzy is the princess of the third demon world, which honestly I did not see that coming. This episode did have another fight in it, which is good, and I think things are poised to pick up. I'm going to try to make this review pretty quick compared to some of the other ones, because a bunch of little things happened, but nothing super relevant to dive into. The term Glind in reference to Supreme Kai did come up again, in terms of what his race is, and we learned a little bit more about it. More about the fact that the Glind used to live in the demon realm. And apparently they all, or most at the very least, left for the outside world a long time ago. So that gives us just a little bit more insight. Seems very similar to the Namekians. Seems like both of those races left the demon realm for the most part and went to the outside world. She even mentions Degasu, which, as we know, is Shin's brother, which Shin does not confirm or deny, playing it pretty close to the vest. We do get the sense that Glorio, again, is not being entirely truthful or telling them everything that he knows, or he may have some ulterior motives. Once they meet the king, he's a real big guy. He's playing, I don't know, looks like he's playing golf or croquet or something. And when we see him, and we learned that Glorio was not summoned by the king to go fetch Goku. He approached the king, and this Supreme Kai mentions this near the end of the episode. The king doesn't believe that Goku can be all that powerful because he looks like a kid. Earlier in the episode, we see once again that most of the demon's power is based on magic. Panzy, it did seem to take her a lot of effort, but she made a rock levitate for a little bit. So, and she says all demons know at least one magic spell. So it doesn't seem like she's very skilled with it, but it does seem like all demons know magic. I'm curious to know what Glorio knows. And as the series goes on, I think we're going to learn more and more about Glorio. He's a very interesting character to me, and I think he's going to have some actual depth to his character. There's something underneath the surface of Glorio that we need to explore. Now, they meet the king. Again, he doesn't believe Goku's all that powerful. So, he's like, oh, well, can you give me a demonstration of how strong you are? And we did learn that the king wants Goma defeated so that he can become Supreme Demon King of the demon realm. Supposedly, he says so that he can maintain peace in the demon realm. Based on his character, there's not a lot of reason to doubt that, but we know better than to take anything at face value when it comes to Dragon Ball. So, just he seems like a cool guy, despite him being a demon, which a lot of the demons, the demon realm doesn't really seem, it's not inherently evil, it doesn't seem, it's just different. It's just another part of the Dragon Ball macrocosm that contains life of a different kind. So it's not necessarily evil, it's just different. So Goku agrees to give him a demonstration of his strength, his power. The king organizes a bunch of his soldiers or whatever with weapons, swords, spears, and stuff like that to fight Goku. Goku, the king does say, no killing, and put your weapons down. Goku's like, nah, that's all right. They can keep their weapons as long as they just don't use guns. And he even gives his power pole to the Supreme Kai. It's like, I don't need this. Goes down there in good old-fashioned Dragon Ball style, puts an absolute whooping on all of these demon soldiers without much effort. Does go into Super Saiyan. They all grab him and to break free, he goes Super Saiyan. So it's our first time seeing Super Saiyan in Daima. So that was really cool. It was very brief because, Goku in his iconic way, he goes Super Saiyan and then he kind of immediately reverts, but he's still got that glow about him. He's just standing there. You know how Goku stands there, kind of half tilted, to the side, just kind of, with his head tilted and he's glaring through that one eye. That's kind of what he does with that little smirk of his. It's a pose we've seen Kid Goku do a lot. So it's almost nostalgic to see Goku Mini do it again here in Daima. It doesn't take him long to dispense with these soldiers and prove that he is strong. And again, this is a heavily nerfed Goku, and he wasn't even trying all that hard. So the king agrees to give them a plane so that they can, proceed and go after, try to help their friend Dende, try to get the Dragon Balls. They said they wanted to gather the Dragon Balls, and he's all confused. Wait, you're actually going to fight the Tamagami? So I'm getting the impression the Tamagami are very strong. I think I mentioned this in the last video. I don't know how strong. I don't know how they would scale compared to Majin Buu. That's kind of a weird, I just don't have any idea. It's also strange that Majin Buu is supposedly a demon because he's a Majin, but he doesn't have pointed ears. That's another odd thing, I didn't think about that before, but it just occurred to me. I'm like, Majin Buu doesn't have pointed ears. So I wonder what the special case with him is in reference to the demon realm and the fact that he is a Majin. We know little tidbits of lore. Toriyama said that Majin Buu has existed since time immemorial. So he had been around a very, 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 very long time. Very long time. Very old entity. Him being a Majin, we did learn that based on Toriyama interviews that Bibbidi didn't so much create Majin Buu as he did conjure him and bring him forth. So I kind of hope we get a little bit more lore about Majin Buu, just a little bit to clear some of that stuff up. I don't know if we will or not, but I kind of hope we do. So Goku whoops all these soldiers, they get a plane, and Supreme Kai mentions the fact that Glorio seems to be hiding something, which is very obvious. He does bring up the fact that Glorio, they just learned that Glorio approached the king, not the other way around as Glorio would have had them believed. Glorio made it seem like the king approached him and asked him to go retrieve Goku. We now know that's not the case. Glorio told the king, I can go get somebody who can beat Goma. The question is, what's Glorio playing at? What's his goal? What's his end game? Kind of a big question mark around him. Panzy is going to be joining them, it looks like, for the rest of the journey. And they also send some little weird, funky-looking dude to go retrieve their friends in the outer world. So, Vegeta, Piccolo, and all them. Now, I don't know, if they're just going to get retrieved, what was the relevance of Supreme Kai's ship being repaired if they're just going to be retrieved and brought there in another ship? So I don't know what's going to happen there. Surely they didn't introduce the concept of Supreme Kai's ship just to not do anything with it. Bulma's working on it for a reason, right? I would assume so. But they don't know the pin number to get past warp, which is why they need to send someone from the demon realm to go get them so that they can get back in to the demon realm. So, I mean, that's what I'm really waiting on, is for Piccolo and Vegeta to join in the action. Because I need to see more of, this mini Vegeta. Mini Piccolo as well, but, Anyways, their ship very early ends up having some issues, and, the engine's messed up, and the Panzy packed too much luggage or whatever, and the ship crashes. This is how the episode ends, is with their ship crashing, seemingly almost right after takeoff. So the next episode will probably pick up where they got a crash ship. Panzy's supposedly good with machines and stuff, so hopefully she can fix the ship up, and they don't have to go looking for another plane for the second time. So I think overall this might have been my favorite or second favorite episode. I really love the first episode. This might have been my favorite or second favorite, just because we got to see Super Saiyan Goku. I've heard that episode 6 is going to be even better. We'll see. I can't speak to that one way or the other. Also, the dub is getting pretty close to coming out. They're doing that limited theatrical run for the first 3 episodes of the dub in U.S. theaters. So I'm also very interested to start watching the dub to hear Stephanie Nadolny return as Goku, and also to hear everybody else's like mini voices. What do they sound like in like little kid versions? I'm wondering if like they got back Krillin's Dragon Ball actress and so on and so forth. How are these characters going to sound? Are they going to sound like that? Chi-Chi as well. Like, is Chi-Chi going to sound like she did when she was a kid, or is she just going to sound completely different? Kind of a big question mark there. It's little things. It's not important, but it's something I'm very curious in. Again, I think if I was ranking this episode, I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. Really good episode. Within the context of the show so far. Last episode was a little slow. This episode had better pacing, I think. So, and I think the pacing of the anime in general is only going to improve as it goes on. So, those are my thoughts on the new episode of Dragon Ball DAIMA. I'm very curious to know what y'all think. Please leave in the comments what you thought of the new episode. What are you most excited for? Are you excited to see more of Super Saiyan Goku? Are you excited to see Vegeta Mini, Piccolo Mini? Are you excited to maybe see a new form or a new fusion? Because the possibilities are endless. We're still only getting started. It's just, again, there wasn't a whole lot to really dissect in this episode, I feel, that was worth dissecting without getting more context from future episodes. And it's going to kind of be like that a few times throughout. So, if you're interested in hearing more of my thoughts on Dragon Ball DAIMA as the episodes come out, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, hit the bell button so you don't miss any of my uploads. And I'll catch you guys in the next review for Dragon Ball DAIMA.